I am Kinga. My name is Kinga Laura Ambrush officially. I'm a project coordinator at Victory, and I will be presenting you the new feature that we have recently developed, and that is the multi-currency and custom customer payment and multiple down payments. And so to have a short introduction, I will just share my screen to present the short summary of the meeting, of the webinar, and then we will start to even use the system to show you how this works actually. So we will be talking about the multi-currency today, the custom down payment, multiple down payments, and we will have a short question and answer session also. The multi-currency, of course, is the feature that allows tour operators to sell deals even in other currencies, in foreign currencies, different than their home currency. For this, the first step to start on that we will even test a bit will be the currencies section. Then we will see the updating of the prices, which is a new functionality also. In case the exchange rates of the currencies changes, then we have a very important feature that allows you to quickly update your prices using that currency exchange rate. And then we will see how to set up your prices in order to control what to be booked in a foreign currency deal, of course. And then we will actually stop at the headliners of today, which is a deal in foreign currency. The second subject is the custom down payments, and with the custom down payments, we will see the settings, which are the custom down payment rules, which allow you to set up multiple down payments also, or just to override your settings, your financial settings, where you set up the percentages and the due dates of the down payment and rest payment. And we will just see how the system generates the multiple down payments. And of course, as I was introducing at the beginning, you can ask us different questions even by email or by chat on this webinar, or even on our support group. You are familiar with that. That is available when you already use Victory in the little chat window. So then let's just start with Victory and to see what Victory is allowing us to do related to multi-currency. So as I was telling you, the first step that we will start with would be the financial settings, and this is the currency section. In the currency section, what we have changed recently, and which is a new add-on, is the possibility to add the source currency and target currency. Up to now, you just had the currency toward your main currency. In this demo environment that I am using for showing you the functionality, the main currency, so to show you, it is set to be using euro. So that is why in the currency section, you will see the one, which is the exchange rate between the main currency and the source euro. This is the very important, and this is something that is by default on every tenant's setting. Other than this, what you will need, or you already have set up in your currencies, is the possibility or the existence of sources and targets. Sources, which represent mainly your buy prices. So you will have to have a source codes toward your home currency, of course, mainly. All the source codes that you are having or introducing in the system buy prices. And in case you would want those buy prices to be sold in all of them, of course, in the different currency also, you will need to set up the exchange rate between that source code, which is your buy, and the foreign currency as well. For this purpose, I have just made some very few settings in our currency on our demo environment. And this is to illustrate how to book a price which is in US dollars, in euro, and in Swiss francs, of course. That is why I have the US dollars, Swiss francs. This is for the calculation purposes, and the US dollars, euro for the home currency value that is saved even if the deal is in a different currency. The system always saves the value in your home currency also for accounting purposes. And what is important to have is your target currency, which is the Swiss francs, which we will be trying the deal in a foreign currency in. This is the Swiss franc to have an exchange rate toward the euro also. Here, as I already mentioned during the introduction, we will have to see even the prices. So I will just start for a few minutes on the prices and go back then on the currencies. So to see how to handle the prices updates from the currency section in case your currency exchange rate is changing. So for this, of course, a very, very simple product, which is a test hotel, is with charge nights setup, and it has 2 valid prices for this current season. And in the type description, I have added few description words just to ease the process of selecting the appropriate price. One price is in euro, as you see, and the other price is in Swiss francs. So when you add a price in your price setup, of course, everybody usually starts if he or she enters the price manually through the price information window by adding the buy part. So if you first add the buy part, usually the sell part, when you first load this window, will be defaultly loading your main currency. This is the case in this case. So if you enter your buy price in the buy currency, you will see the buy currency's exchange rates towards your home currency. But in case you decide to change your sell currency of the price to a different currency, then the buy currency section also updates itself, and it will show the currency exchange rate between the buy, which is the US dollar in our case, and the Swiss franc, which I have just changed my sell currency into. But I will just leave this price unchanged. Of course, if I just cancel, it will not overwrite anything. Just to show you actually on these prices case to illustrate the currency exchange rate update, you see here that we have 0.91, which is the exchange rate between the US dollars and the euro. And this is my price. I will just cancel not to overwrite any change. And you see that on my prices level, the value of the $100 is 91 in euro. And I will just go back to the currency section. And since now currently the US dollar euro exchange rate has changed, I will just decide to update, sorry, not to 1, but to 0.95. And I will just go next. And in order to update the prices as well, which are using this 0.91 exchange rate to turn into 0.95, I will just check mark update exchange rate on prices level. And I do not want my sell price to be recalculated. I'd rather like the system to recalculate based on the changed exchange rate and based on the changed buy value, therefore the profit and the markup. So this is how I will just go forward, have a save, and the system is telling me that it has updated one currency to 0.95. So this is the original value of my price, and I will just reload this price. And here you see the old profit and markup, which I am expecting to be recalculated by the exchange rate update. And if I reload it, this has been recalculated. My sell unit price has not been changed, and the sell currency has changed. Therefore, the value of the buy has changed also. So this is a quick way for you to control your prices, to have them up to date always, in case you usually change your exchange rates maybe on a weekly basis or on a regular basis. And to go back then to the actual step that I would like to show you is the creation of a deal. I am on the product, and I will be just booking this product for maybe 1 night or 2 nights to have a quick calculation. And here you see the two prices. What I would like to show you is how the system is treating the price retrieval part when I am initiating a booking in a different currency than my home currency, how the price retrieval is handled. So what I will do, I will just start a standard deal. And I will have this deal in Swiss francs. For 2 persons. And I will be, maybe just for the Christmas Eve, book a night in this test hotel. So when I search for the prices, this is the first implementation which we have changed related to the multi-currency, is the actual retrieval of the prices. So here you see already that only the Swiss franc price has been returned, even if I have another price for the same season in euro. So mainly the idea is that in case you already have a price in your foreign currency, that's the one that the system will return for the booking purpose. In case you do not have a Swiss franc price, in our case, the foreign currency price, only in that case will the system see the euro prices and transform them. But to even show you how the calculation is done in case the Swiss franc price does not exist, I will just quickly edit this price. And so that the price retrieval method does not return it anymore, I will just quickly change it to buy. Buy prices are not returned during the booking flow. Those are used mainly for calculation of group tours, for calculation of supplier amounts. So this price, which was in Swiss francs, I deactivated. So going back to the product, this one I have set to buy. Then I will just quickly search again, and now you see that the price, which was in euro, has been returned and has been calculated in Swiss francs. And to even show you how that has been done, you see here, this is the euro price. And this euro price in the price information has a value of buy of $100 and value in euro, which is 136.5. This value of sell has not been used in the calculation, and this is the case where the system already is using the buy part, this $100. It is retrieving the exchange rate between the US dollars and the Swiss francs. It is transforming this €100 in Swiss francs. It is searching for a custom profit or markup, which I will be showing in a different tab. In the settings, in the financial section, you have the custom profit and markup. This, I have not set up anything, but in case you would want for the deals that are sold in a different currency than your home currency, for the system to use a custom profit and markup, maybe to have higher prices calculated, not using the profit and markup on the price level, you can set up the custom profit and markup, of course, here in this section. So the custom profit and markup setting would be for the Swiss franc deal, and to be exactly for this product. So to see how the system will be using this, I will just edit for this product code. And instead of the 30.40, I will just add the higher profit and the higher markup. So let's put here 50%. It automatically calculates itself in between, so I will just save this. So it means that I have a higher profit and markup as preferential profit and markup setup in my system. So in this case, if I search again, then the system will not be calculating my Swiss franc price based on the 100 US dollars transformed in Swiss francs plus the profit or the markup of the price level. It will use the preferential profit and markup. And for this purpose, I will just search again. And as you see, the price has been increased due to the profit and markup that has been used from the from the profit and markup from the settings level. So I will just book this price. And it has doubled the amount due to the fact that I have two persons. But if you just open quickly the arrangement, you will see actually the calculation that the 100 euro has been transformed in the sell currency, which is the Swiss franc. And the applied profit and markup is the one that has been used from the settings, and therefore the unit price and the tax included. Of course, I do not have any tax here, so to simplify the whole process, has been calculated based on the buy and the preferential profit and markup. As I was telling you, in case of a different currency, a foreign currency booking, the system for the accounting purposes will always save the value in home currency also. Your buy amount in home currency and your sell amount also in home currency. So I have done no changes. I will just go further quickly and finalize my deal. And I have a deal which is in, maybe I should move this a bit up, in Swiss francs. And you see everything here. And of course, if I go to the operations section, you will see that the customer payment as well has been saved in Swiss francs. And I would like to just show you quickly even the accounting of this, the accounting part for this booking. And it has saved the customer payment line and the supplier payment line, what is due for the customer payment and what is due for the supplier payment. Both of them have the value in the home currency, and both of them have the value in the foreign currency also. So this would be actually the illustration of how booking in a foreign currency works in a very, very simplified scenario. Of course, when you use this and you encounter cases which are not that simple, questions may arise. So I will be waiting and eager for your questions in this case. And let's then move to the second part of our webinar, which is the custom customer payments. And for this, I think the first step that we should start on would be, again, the settings and the financial settings to see how the invoices will be generated in this case. So what I have in this demo environment is a down payment of 10% setup with a two maximum of 2,000. This two maximum of 2,000 represents the upper limit to which the system calculates the down payment. So if you have a 100,000 value booking and you set up a 10% to be calculated with an upper limit of 2,000, the system will always just stop at the 2,000, will not go higher in the calculation of the down payment value. And if you have set up the down payment, which is in the system by default only one down payment, then you have to, of course, set up your payment due days, which is the payment due in days. The first one, this is for your down payment, and this is calculated based on your booking date. So if it's 10, it's 10 days after the booking date here. This is how this setting represents itself, and the balance due in days is 20. And that 20 is calculated based on the travel date, so actually the start date of your booking. So you will have a down payment of 10% generated up to 2,000, which is payable 10 days after your booking date, and the rest payment of 90%, or in case it is a maximum, the 2,000, then the rest value, it is payable 20 days before the travel date. And these are my main settings in the system. So, of course, there are some standard regulations in Victory which will not generate down payment in case the down payment due date does not fit in between the interval before the start date, or in case if I make a stupid setting here and I increase the down payment due days to be much higher, and it will just be calculated in between the rest payment date and your travel date. So in this case, the down payment will not be calculated. The system already has these calculation errors eliminated due to the fact so not to have incorrect dates or incorrect due amounts. And to have a deal even in a very far future, so to have a down payment also, I will just initiate a new deal with the same hotel. I will do it now in euro. So to allow the system to have enough time to calculate the due payment and the rest payment amounts and the dates, of course, I will just choose a date in February. Maybe have these persons for a Valentine's Day getaway from the 13th until the 16th on the same hotel. And I have initiated my booking in euro. Now the system has only returned the euro price. It is not using, in this case, the Swiss franc price. So the scenario is correct, and I have the price. I will just book it. And the system has calculated the total amount. And quickly, I will save my deal. And if I go to the deal and to the operations, I will see that I have one down payment that has been generated with 10% of the total, which is of the 819. It's 81.90 euro. And this is due on the 22nd of December, which is 10 days after my current date, which is the 12th. And if I open, of course, the customer payment, I will see that the rest payment is due 20 days before the start date. That's how it has been set up. That's why it is the 24th of January. And the rest payment is the difference between 890 and the down payment. And this is 737.10. And having this information, this customer payment information generated based on the general settings, I would like this deal to have a preferential down payment or even more down payments. And this is why I will just use this new feature, which you will find in the deal details, and it's called Use Custom Down Payments. And of course, you may have noticed that when I checkmark this Use Custom Down Payments, the Custom Down Payments Rules section has appeared in the quick links. I will just save it and click on the Custom Down Payments to set up the rules. So when you checkmark to use custom down payments in that moment, the system will just delete the down payment that has been generated based on the general settings. So even if you don't use any custom rules, the system will, you have checkmarked it and you will not set up any custom rules, the system will not lead to an error. It will just use the calculated whole amount as the rest payment, and you may also see it here immediately. So to go back to the custom down payment rules, you have here the possibility which allows you to set up multiple down payments. Here, of course, the restriction is, so to avoid calculation errors, is that in case your first rule is set up with a fixed amount, then your second rule has to be, or the rest of them has to be also in fixed amount. In case you decide, and I will do that, to set up a not fixed amount but a percentage, maybe a 20% on the 1st of January. I will verify whether it is correct. And the second one, and here the system does not allow me to anymore select this fig because the check mark here is disabled. I will set up another 30%, so to reach 15 total, maybe on the 12th of January. And I have verified, and now I will just save and apply. The system reloads the whole deal, and the calculation has been redone with 2 down payments, each of them calculated as I have requested it. And the total value of them, it is shown actually in the overview. So is the half of the actual price, the 50%. 50% of the 890 is 409.50. And here you have the 2 customer down payments, which can be paid, of course, separately or can be paid in total. And the payment of the customer payments is in the general list also available. You can just choose one, have a received payment, or the total amount, or modify it downwards as you want it. This has not been changed. This is as it was even before. And this kind of covers the customer down payments flexibility, of course, that we have introduced with this new feature, custom down payments. In case you were wondering what happens in case you go back to your deal and decide afterwards not to use anymore the custom down payment rules, you can just go to your deal, edit details, uncheck the custom down payment section, which makes the new quick link also disappear, save it. And in the operation, you will just see the originally recalculated values based on the general settings of the system. So this gives our tour operators a bit of a freedom in managing their down payments. So you are not kind of tied up with only one down payment. You have the flexibility to define your dates also by just testing or playing around with the rules. Of course, you don't have to be afraid to test it out, because as you may see, if you just go back afterwards to the original, it's just a click away. So everything is redone to its original value. the calculation of the prices, the update of the prices, which can be triggered after you update the currency exchange rate, is built in such a way to verify. It's not verifying the season begin and season end at all. So even your currency exchange rate has a season begin, season end. That's not taken into consideration when retrieving the prices that need to be updated. So for the retrieval of the prices that will be updated, the system only uses the source code and the target code and the exchange rate, meaning that it retrieves only those prices that are using this exchange rate in between those currencies, and will be updating only those prices, not to have an overload updated of prices which we won't be even using, only those prices where the season begin is earlier than the current date and the season end is in a bigger date. So it means only available prices, not prices that have expired. We had here a little error, of course, and Bettina knows about it. We had an issue with updating zero value prices because there can be an exchange rate set on the prices that have zero value set. And we have quickly fixed that issue. So even zero value prices are updated in case the source is the one from the edited currency and the target is the one also, and the exchange rate is the one also. Archive exchange rate is for not for the system to control the system not to use anymore that exchange rate. So that exchange rate, if it is archived, it will not be shown in the prices overlays in the interface either, or when the system is trying to retrieve in behind an exchange rate, like for calculation purposes in the deal process, it will not the exchange rate which is archived. So if you have set one to archived, then you have to have one which is for the same in case you still want to use those currencies, to have an exchange rate which is not archived and of course valid for the season. In case you use the season validity by controlling it from the season begin and season end, then as well for the currency exchange rate retrieval, when you are adding prices, the system will just show in the interface or retrieve in behind only those currency exchange rates that are not archived and valid based on the season. For using the multi-currency feature, there's no additional setup that we need to do. So you have seen that in case you set up your currencies and have all your currency exchange rates in order, then the system will be already enabled to allow you to book a deal in a different currency. So if you click on create deal, then you have now only the euro probably, but you will have the other currency as soon as you add this as a target in the currency exchange rate. So this list is displaying all the individual targets that are distinct, different values. So I have in the target values, if I go back to the currencies in the settings, euro and Swiss franc, and that's why the system is displaying both of them.